No spring football for Ohio State this week. School's on spring break, so football's on spring break. But there's much more spring football to come, and there are several interesting position battles that are going on in this camp. There's some settled guys, but like on the defensive side, they have a lot of moving parts. My most interesting position battle is actually running back, which might be a weird answer, but when we first talked to Urban Meyer at the start of spring football, he said J.K. Dobbins thinks he's the number one tailback. Mike Weber thinks he's the number one tailback. I love that. Again, I don't love that, and I'm just very curious to see. Obviously, they're both going to play, but I'm curious for the battle to see if it winds up more like a timeshare. At the very least, J.K. Dobbins is going to get 50% of the playing time. But it might be 50-50, or it might be 90-10 or 80-20 in favor of J.K. Dobbins. I'm very curious to see whether Mike Weber is more even with J.K. Dobbins when they come out of spring, or if J.K. Dobbins is clearly the number one guy. I think it's better for them if J.K. Dobbins is the number one guy, but maybe if they're 50-50, that's because Mike Weber looks awesome. So that wouldn't be bad either. But I know they're both going to play, but I'm just so curious about the breakdown there. That's why I'm watching running back. Not Tim, you're over there. Bill, what's most interesting to you?
The one that Urban Meyer brought up last week, which was center. He was asked about quarterback and pivoted to center, which I thought was interesting because I would just assume that Brady Taylor is the guy taking over at center, fifth-year guy who's just been like waiting his time. And the thing that's interesting about it to me is if we're going to have another scenario in which there are older guys, like obvious older answers to a position battle on the offensive line, and they're going to lose to a young guy like Josh Myers. Josh Myers, redshirt freshman, is in that mix. He was one of the names Urban listed along with Matt Burrell and Brady Taylor. Matt Burrell is in like his third opportunity now to win a starting job. Brady Taylor's been waiting 5 years for this, could have transferred and didn't, and now he's in the spot. And I don't think it's off the table for Josh Myers to come and take them both out.
And Urban Meyer made it very clear he thinks center is critical. We both went offense. You go on offense or defense for yours?
I'm going to go defense. I'm going to look at, opposite safety with Jordan Fuller. We all know what Jordan Fuller is. He's going to be the anchor of that secondary. I'm curious who's going to win that second job, and there's three guys I'm kind of looking at, all sophomores. Isaiah Pryor, who probably is a favorite, got more playing time than the other two guys I'm going to mention. Base package, good on special teams. Brendan White, the local kid from just up the street, Olentangy Liberty, great athlete. He's got size. And then Amir Riep, a converted corner who moved to safety, gained 12 pounds in the offseason for that move, and he made tremendous tackles on special teams. So three guys there that are going to compete for that job. I can imagine it's going to continue all the way into fall. I'm curious, out of those three, who really emerges right alongside Fuller.
I think it's a good spring. It's like there's some established guys, but there's a lot of enough interesting spots that nobody knows the answer to. That spring game in the middle of April will be a chance to see like who won, who's ahead, because that really matters, and it's really going to tell you something about the fall. Again, no spring football practice this week. We'll still have stories and coverage, though. Thanks to you guys for reading and watching. He's Bill. He's Tim. I'm Doug. See you later at cleveland.com.